Symphony and welcome to my channel. So today has been a bit of a long day. You guys are gonna have to bear with me. I had a performance today and so that's why I am in full show makeup. But anywho, today's video is going to be high school advice. And if you didn't know, I just graduated a few months ago, so I feel like I'm certified to do this. Without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so I have my laptop right here. If you see me looking down, that's what I'm looking at because I have all my notes and stuff on here. So yeah, the first thing is don't procrastinate, or just try not to procrastinate. I know some people are just notorious for procrastinating because I'm one of those people, but it's really not the best thing. Because you're gonna hate yourself if it's midnight and you have 4 assignments due, an essay due, and a test to study for. Especially if you just came from practice. I was a swimmer, so I would have practice and I would come home at 8 o'clock and then I would have all this stuff to do. So yeah, you're gonna hate it. And also try to do your homework like when you get it. The school that I went to, I don't know like how many other schools are like this. The school that I went to, we had what was called A and B days. So like for example, Monday would be an A day. And so if it was due the next class, I mean you had till Wednesday to do it, or like it would be due on Wednesday, which basically means you have 2 days. So I mean, if you do it on the day you get it, then like you won't have anything to do on Tuesday, or at least for that class or that like, or for that A day. Because I mean you would get B day homework too, but like it just depends on how your classes are set up. But yeah, just try not to procrastinate. The next thing is stay organized. I personally like to use a planner. I'm one of those people, but yeah, it really does help, especially if you're like me, because like I can't remember anything if I don't write it down. So yeah, I like to use a planner, which I will be doing in this series. I will be doing a planner video, or like a how to stay organized video. So if you guys want to see that, stay tuned. I'll probably be uploading it like the end of this week, most likely on Friday. The next thing is to ask for help. And the reason I say this is because I feel like most people, they don't want to go, because I used to be one of these people, they don't want to go and like ask the teacher for help or be like, I don't understand something. But I mean, it really does help, because I mean, obviously if you don't understand, you're not going to understand unless you ask. And I mean, some teachers, if they really can see you're trying, because I've literally like, don't tell anyone, but I've literally had a teacher bump my grade because they like could tell that I was actually trying in their class and I was actually putting out the effort to try to like make the grade. So definitely ask for help if you don't understand something, or if you just like lost. I mean, sometimes like you might study and you still don't make the grade, or like, you know, some people just aren't good test takers. So it's always good to like ask for help if you're having issues like that. The next thing is participate in school activities like football games, spirit week, etc. I mean, it's worth it in the end because you'll have the memories. I mean, you don't want to like look back on your 4 years of high school and like you have no memories. So definitely go to games, go to events. If you like go to, well, I was gonna say dances. I wasn't always for dances, but I mean homecoming and stuff, you gotta go to those, because I mean, if nothing else, you'll have the memories. The next one I have, which this one helped me a lot once I actually started doing it, is to study like a few days before the exam. So let's say you have a psychology test on Friday. Okay, so let's say you have a psychology test on Friday. You already know it's going to be over more than likely. So just like take maybe, even if it's just 30 minutes, study like 30 minutes or an hour just every day. And then maybe study a little bit more like the day before, because that's going to help you a lot, because then you're not cramming and you're not like trying to like cram all this information into your brain like the night before a test, especially if it's like a midterm or a final or something. Like you've got all this information that you've learned over the past I don't know how many weeks and you're just trying to like cram it in. It's better to do it that way because you're more likely to retain the information. I noticed that like I started making better grades on tests when I would study like 5 days before or whatever, or 4 days before. Because I mean, some tests you don't need, I mean, if you're just doing like one module or one chapter, like you don't need to study weeks before. But like if you have a test, then you could just like even just 2 or 3 days, like just break it up some. The next thing also kind of goes with like finals. It's make a study schedule. I used to do this whenever I would have semester exams or whatever. I would just like write the day that I had the test, and then I would write like the days that I was going to study for that test. Like I said, it would be like 4 or 5 days before. I say if it's like a final or something, and you're trying to like study an entire semester worth of like material, I say at least 4 to 5 days, maybe 6 or 7, depending on like how you are, how you like to do things. Because that's what I would do. I would do like a module a day, and then that's how I would like study for my stuff. Also, another one, I didn't actually write this down, but I just thought about it, is make flashcards. Flashcards are so helpful. Like I said, I don't really remember things unless I write them down, so flashcards would kind of help me because I'd be writing them and then I would flip through them like just whenever. I mean, I would be at lunch sometimes and I would flip through them if I like really had something going on, but that was kind of on the days where I was procrastinating and like, you know. But flashcards really do help, because then if you don't, like if you are procrastinating, or like if you just, I mean, sometimes life happens. If you have practice late at night or something, or if you have a million other assignments to do, I mean, sometimes it's just like you can't, I don't want to say you can't study, but like you guys get what I'm saying, like it's just life. So I mean, flashcards really help, because like wherever you are, you can just throw them in your bag and just flip through them whenever you can, I guess. Also, make a list of like what you're gonna study. So like if I had a final and I knew that the final was over chapters 1 through 6 or something like that, then I would be like, okay, well what all is included in chapter 1, like this topic, and this topic, and I would kind of go through it like that. Or if I have, some teachers will do, which I know some teachers don't do study guides, and teachers do their study guides differently. I've had teachers do it where it's literally like the questions that are on the exam, and like it'll be like some fill in the blank stuff, or like if it's multiple choice, it'll be multiple choice. But I've also had teachers literally give you a paper that's just like a list of topics. So like if it's just a list, I can't talk. If it's just a list of topics, then I would just say like go through, know that you need to study these topics, and then maybe like make notes over those topics. Because that's another thing I do. I'll like rewrite, like I said, I'm like one of those people that needs to like write things to remember them. And so a lot of times when I'm studying, I'll like rewrite notes, or like I said, the flashcards, that's a good thing. So like if you're that type of person, then I think that would help. The next one is to have an emergency kit. That is another thing that I will be showing you guys in my back to school series. I can't tell you guys how many times I had an incident where, I mean, just random things. I mean, you get a stain on your shirt, you have a female emergency, like it's just so helpful in so many ways. But I'll be doing a whole video on an emergency kit, what you need to have in there, what I would recommend you have in there. The next thing is wear what you want. And I put this in here because I feel like some people, well, I think we all do this, because I did this. It would be like the first week of school, or like the first 2 weeks of school, you're like, okay, I need to dress cute. Like this is gonna be my year to dress cute. And then like after like September, you just don't care. But I mean, it's really not that big of a deal, because I mean, honestly, no one cares. No one's gonna be looking at like who has the nicest shoes or anything like that. I mean, because most people, I mean, I think a lot of people just don't dress up for school anymore. I stopped dressing up for school. I would just like, especially in the winter time, boy, I just hoodie, leggings, Uggs, out the door. That's how it was for me. But I mean, obviously, if you like want to dress up, then go for it. But like, it's really not that big of a deal. Like, you don't have to dress up for school every day, because honestly, no one cares. The next thing is for all of you incoming freshmen who might not know this, don't stop in the middle of the hallway. Please don't be that person. I'm telling you this out of love. Do not be that person that stops in the middle of the hallway. Upperclassmen and just everyone hates it so much. I used to, like, that was one of the things in school, like that was one of my pet peeves. Like, do not stop in the middle of the hallway, because then I have to go around you, and that's just like too much extra moving for me. Like it just annoyed me so much. I already said do your homework when you get it. Oh, if you have a study hall, use it to do your work. I know like a lot of people say that, or teachers will tell you that like this study hall is for work, it's not for playing around, you know. But honestly, it helps, because especially if you have stuff to do, which a lot of us, we have stuff to do. You might have practice, you might have musical rehearsal, you might have dance. I'm just saying things that I was in high school. But I mean, you might have whatever. And I mean, it's just like, it just helps, because like if you have a study hall something in the middle of the day, especially because a lot of people will have study hall at the end of the day, like their last class of the day. So then you just do your homework then, and then when you get home after you've been at rehearsal or practice or wherever you've been after school and you've been to school, I mean, you're gonna be tired, you won't have to worry about doing your homework. That's what I would do. And another thing that kind of goes with this is, if you can, be a monitor. Like, again, I don't know if this is like that at every school, or like if other schools have programs that are like this, but like my school had a thing where if you were like a junior or a senior, you could be a monitor for a class, and it was basically like another study hall, unless, well, it really just depended on who the teacher was, because I mean, some teachers would actually have you like doing stuff, but most teachers don't have you doing like a lot, because I mean, obviously it's their job to, like, you know, but I mean, sometimes teachers will ask you like make copies or whatever, just little stuff like that. But honestly, the monitor class that I had, I was able to get so much work done in that class, and it was just like, I would be so grateful when I got home at 8 o'clock, because then I'm like, okay, I don't have to do my homework. I've already done that. I can go to bed now. The next thing is, don't be extra. And what I mean by that is, like, don't try so, like, you don't have to try so hard to be like, first of all, don't be loud. No one likes loud people. I mean, if you're at a football game, go for it. If you're at a basketball game, go for it. But like, if you're just in the hallway, yeah, just don't try to do too much to draw attention to yourself, because it's honestly like kind of annoying. And plus, like, it's, again, no one cares. I think you'll realize, because I used to think like there was all this stuff that was so important, like what I wore and all that, but I mean, honestly, once you get to high school, you'll kind of realize that no one really cares. Like, really, everyone is like focused on themselves more than they are like other people, because I mean, most people are just like minding their business, like try to get the day over with. Like, no one's really like worried about it. So it's like, don't try to like do too much to, I guess, fit in. I guess that's what I mean by don't be extra. Like, you don't have to worry about fitting in and all that, because I mean, it's really not that important. And that goes into something else that I was gonna say. Honestly, being popular is not important, but being nice to people is. Don't, like, again, don't try so hard to fit in, but like, be nice to people. No one wants to like be around someone that's like always mean or like mad or something. Like, it's not a good time. So like, just be nice to people. I mean, if someone like bumps into you in the hallway, like, don't get angry. Like, just like, you know, like, just be nice to people, because I mean, I think people really value that more than like it's talked about. Like, just be nice. The next one that I have is, take the classes that are right for you. And what I mean by this is, like, I don't know how I put this. If you are comfortable in pre-AP, take pre-AP. If you're comfortable in AP, take AP. If you're comfortable in 2 or 3 AP classes and 2 or 3 pre-AP classes, then do that. Don't do like don't take all pre-AP classes because your friends are taking pre-AP classes, or like, don't take all AP classes because you're like, just take what's right for you. If you feel like you can handle an AP calculus class, then go for it. But like, if you don't, like, unless it's required, don't try to like, oh, you don't have to overdo it, because you're still gonna get your credits. You're still gonna, like, you know. Although the one thing that I will say about AP classes, because I mean, some of them are like harder, like significantly harder, but one thing that I will say is that AP classes count for an extra point on your GPA. So like, let's say you have a 3.5 and you take an AP English course, whatever you like make, because usually it's like an A, because an A is normally like 4 points, and then a B is 3 points, and a C is 2 points. It's like you just add a point, so then an A will be 5 points. So then let's say you made an A or even a B, you had a 3.5, now you have a 3.6. You know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. I'm kind of bad at explaining things, but yeah, it will add on to your GPA. So like, even if you're not like getting a 100A in the class, it's still helping your GPA, because like, even if you get a B, it's basically counting as an A, versus if you were in a pre-AP class and you got a B, then it would count. You know what I mean? But again, like, if you don't think you would want to take AP classes, if you don't think that you would be comfortable, like if you don't want to put out like the extra effort, then just don't do it. Because I mean, it's not worth having to like go through the trouble of like dropping the class and all that. Like, if you don't if you don't think that you're gonna be like, if it's gonna be too difficult, or if it's gonna be, or if you're in a pre-AP class and you feel like it's gonna be too easy, like, you know what I mean, like, just take the classes that you think are right for you. Don't, like, I do think that you should, like, talk to your counselors and stuff, but, like, your friends and stuff, like, don't just, like, do what everyone else is doing, you know. And that's another thing, like, visit, especially if you're a junior or a senior, visit your counselor, because that definitely helps. I was actually, like, kind of cool with my counselor, so, but I do think that you should, like, meet with your counselor every now and then so that you can kind of, well, what I would do is I would meet with them, like, every year, like, when it was time to pick schedules, so that I was taking the right classes. Like I said, take the classes that are right for you. And, like, they'll kind of help you figure that out, too. Like, they'll let you know, like, if you're on the right track to graduating and all that, for whatever your goals are and stuff. Because, I mean, I knew basically for freshman year I wanted to graduate with honors, so, like, I made sure that I was taking the classes that I would need to graduate with honors, because you would have to have, like, so many credits, and, like, it was different from, like, the regular, I guess. Or if you're, like, a fine arts student and you want your fine arts credits, or whatever they're called for you, for us it was called cord and seal. Like, if you want your drama stuff or your dance stuff or whatever it is, then you need to make sure that you're, like, taking the right classes for that. So yeah, definitely be with your counselor, and also your counselors can help you with scholarships and letters of recommendation and all that. So you definitely want to, like, build a relationship with your counselors, or at least, you know, be nice to them so that they can help you out. And that's also, like, make sure you're, like, keeping up with all your graduation requirements. Like I said, I would meet with my counselor, like, at the end. Was it the end? Yeah. We'll pick our schedules in, like, January for, like, the following year. So then I would meet with my counselors then to make sure that I was picking the right classes. The next thing, and I cannot stress this enough, take the ACT early. You're gonna thank me. We had to take the ACT, everyone was required to take it our junior year, because, I mean, you know, junior year is when you kind of, like, start kind of looking at college stuff, like, really looking into it. But what I did, I took my first ACT, I took it, like, sophomore year. I think I took it, like, the second semester of sophomore year, or sometime, like, in the winter time. And so that kind of, like, helped me out, because it was just like, okay, so this is what I got the first time. This is what I can probably improve on. And I took some, like, ACT courses and stuff too, which, I mean, kind of helped, like, with, you know, timing and things like that, because I'm the type of person, like, I had a hard time with running, like, I had a hard time with the timing aspect of the ACT. Well, the math. I would, like, run out of time. I would, like, the first, like, maybe 2 or 3 times I took the ACT, I would run out of time, like, on either the science or the math, or, like, it would just, I would end up having to, like, just bubble in, because, I mean, it is a time test, and you have to, well, it's better if you bubble in answers, because honestly, there's a chance that you could get them right. So, like, even if you don't know, or if you're running out of time, I definitely recommend you just bubble them in, because then there's a chance that you can get it right. It's better than leaving it blank, because then that's just automatically wrong. But yeah, I had a hard time with the timing part at first, so I took some ACT courses for that. But yeah, taking it early definitely helped me out a little bit. And by the time I took it, I think the time that I was required to take it junior year, I think we took it in, like, February. By the time that I was required to take the test, I was pretty much, I think that was my last time taking it, because I had already taken it, and I was able to get the score I wanted, like, that way. So the next one, apply for as many scholarships as possible. This is going to help you out, especially, well, if you're, well, just in general, because, I mean, some people aren't good test takers, and the system is honestly kind of messed up, because some people aren't good test takers, but then they make the grades, but then, like, a lot of, like, colleges and, like, scholarships are through the ACT, and I'm just like, that's not the only thing, like, I have to offer, you know? So, yeah, definitely try to apply for scholarships. It is kind of hard when it's just, like, they're only offering it to one student, but there are some that, like, offer to multiple students, or, like, they'll give, like, $1,000 to, like, 10 students, you know. So definitely try to apply. Obviously not all scholarships are gonna, like, apply to you, because, like, I found one where it was like I had to be, what was it? It was something really random that just didn't apply to me. So I mean, obviously not everything's gonna apply to you, and some of them are need based. So like your parents have to make a certain amount of money or like whatever. But yeah, but still like try to apply, because I mean 9 times out of 10 there are still gonna be a lot that you can apply for. So like just like make sure that you're like keeping up with it and keeping up with deadlines and stuff, because that'll really help you out when you're trying to pay for like your college tuition. The next one is participate in volunteer opportunities. And the reason I say that is because a lot of scholarships will ask you, you might have an essay to write, or like just sometimes on applications they'll ask you about volunteer opportunities, and they want people that like have had like volunteer experience or like community service and things like that. So definitely do what you can. If you're in like Beta Club or National Honor Society, I was in those 2 things. If you're in like stuff like that, then a lot of times those like clubs will have like opportunities for you to volunteer. But I mean, you can always do it on your own. I mean, you can do it through church, or I used to be in Girl Scouts way back when we would do stuff like that. So but definitely like participate, and make sure that like when you're like doing your application or your essay, list everything, because I mean it helps. The next one is kind of self-explanatory, but the next one is to take notes. And I feel like this helps even if you're one of those people that's like a learner. What is the word I'm looking for? Is it an auditory learner? Like people who are okay with like just hearing information and they can remember it that way, and like they can take a test and be okay. I was not one of those people. I needed to write it, or I needed to like have some type of visual. I'm a visual learner. Like I need to see something in front of me like to study it. I can't just like hear a lecture. Like I mean, I'm sure I could, but like, you know what I mean? Like I'm not the type of person that will just hear a lecture and like be okay, like take a test on it, you know? But some students are like that. But I still like recommend that you take notes, because I mean it can help when you're taking finals and stuff. Because I mean, obviously you're not gonna like really remember something that you learned at the beginning of the semester, so it definitely helps. And I also feel like you should try to organize them some type of way. Like I said, I'm gonna be doing an organization video later on in the week. Next one is figure out what your learning style is. So like I said, I'm a visual learner, so I like taking notes and having flashcards and things like that. But I mean, there's people that are auditory learners or like kinesthetic learners. I mean, there's all types of learning styles. So I really think that it helps to figure out what it is, because then it's like, I know that I'm a visual learner, so I know that I need to write things down, so you can kind of like figure out what actually helps you. Because I mean, if you don't know, then it might be difficult to actually study and like retain information. Alright, now the last thing that I want to touch on in this video, and I need y'all to really hear me on this: high school relationships are not that important. I don't know how to put this. I'm not gonna say I don't recommend them, but like honestly, it's not that important like for you to have a boyfriend or girlfriend in high school. Yeah, when you see other people on Valentine's Day, because you know people bring stuff to school, it sucks. But I mean, honestly, it's gonna be fine. Like, cause I mean, sometimes it's just like a thing where it's like you're busy, he's busy, or you're busy and she's busy. It's just like, it's just a lot. So I mean, sometimes just focus on you, because I mean, a lot of times in high school, people aren't really like trying to take relationships seriously anyway. If you found your soulmate, then by all means. But I just wanted to throw that in there. Okay guys, that is it for today's video. That's it for my advice for today. But I mean, obviously, if you want me to give some more advice on different topics, then I would love to do that, because I'm the therapist friend. But hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. That's delicious.